Hey everybody, Eddie Heinzelman here. I am in my shop today. Notice the COVID hair. I know it's been a while since I've done some videos. I'm going to be doing more videos, but I wanted to show you 3 ways that you can wind strings. So a lot of times people want to know how to change their strings, how they do the actual windings, how do professionals wind their strings. Well, I'm going to show you 3 methods. The first method is kind of a lock loop method that I was taught as a kid. I've seen, players like Joe Walsh and other luthiers use over the years. The second method is what my tech used for my guitars and other guitars for years, which is just winding the string. And then the third method is one I picked up from other guitar techs, mostly touring guitar techs, that is good for string stability, intonation-wise, and quick. So let's take a look at 3 ways to wind guitar strings. Okay, so the first method is the way that I was shown as a kid. It's basically the way that you lock a string. So what you do is you feed the string through the holes. I usually do it fairly straight. Pull the string, not real tight, but just snug, to take out the slack from the bridge pin. Now, I'm going to turn this just a touch here. Measuring the string, there's a couple different ways you can do this. Some people do from tuning peg to tuning peg. You just grab one and you pull back to the next tuning peg. That's a good way to do it. I take from the first fret, or from the first fret, and I pull it back to the second fret. My guitar tech just uses his hand and pulls it up, and my hand is bigger than his hand, so he's been doing it for years. I just use, like I said, a fret, or you can grab from one tuning peg and pull it back to the next tuning peg. And that gives you the slack that you need. You want 2 to 3 wraps typically. And so the first way that I was taught is then you hold it and you make about a 90-degree angle in the string. Then you're going to really tightly bend it back, circle around, and come under. Pull it tight, hold it, and wind. And at that point, you're going to get 2 to 3 wraps, and there you go. And you can then see again how the string is kind of locked and wrapped around itself. Okay, that's method number 1. Method number 2. This is the way my guitar tech always did my strings. And all it is simply doing the same thing measurement-wise. You pull a string straight through. You come back. You come back just to give it a little bit of slack, and you hold it, and you just wind it. No looping, just wind it from top to bottom. Because once you get 2 to 3 turns on it, it's going to be tight enough. Okay? Now the third method. This is one I've seen other guitar techs use on the road, and the reason is twofold. One, it's sort of a combination of those other 2 methods in that you're not really locking the string, but it does tend to grip differently, and for speed of string changes. Notice that first method, if a string breaks or you go to change the string, that hook you have to undo when you change the strings, so that can cause a bit of a delay, especially if you're in a show and need to change the string right away. So this is the method that I often use, and again, depending on who the player is, what they're looking for, tuning stability, etc. In this method, you do the same thing. You get your slack. Now this is the 6th string. It doesn't quite need as much slack, so I'm just going to take it back a little bit. The first round goes over the string. See that? Everything else then goes under. There we go. And that's it. 3 ways to wind a string. One is not necessarily better than the other, or maybe they are. The third one, a lot of times people think has a little more tuning stability, or the first one because they lock and wrap around each other. But again, you can see this second one, it's not going anywhere if you give it enough wraps. The key is to give it 2 to 3 wraps, no more than 3, no less than 2 typically. And again, the lock method, just winding to the bottom, and then the, I don't know what it's called, crisscross method or whatever, where you just wind the first one on top and then to the bottom. So there you have it. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I hope you got something out of this video. Again, I apologize for the lack of videos during COVID. Had to take some time to open this shop. So while live gigs and touring is pretty much suspended at the moment, all of my shows for the rest of the year have canceled. I am here in Nashville at my new guitar shop. And so I'm also still doing tracks and recording and demos. I will be doing more YouTube videos now that the shop is open, but I also am here a few days a week and on weekends, so one louder guitar service. But I hope you like this video. Again, stay tuned for more, and I really appreciate you watching. See you soon.